running live now on the streams we're on YouTube and Facebook. And if you're there, feel free to jump in and ask questions there, because we'll follow the comments and I'll be able to answer them here in real time. In fact, somebody said they completed the subject to, what is that? I just completed purchase subject to on SFR in San Pablo. Rocket Mortgage was fine with the third party making mortgage payments. Okay, good. We have somebody on Facebook who's doing subject twos. I'm going to tell you guys, if I was new in the business, the niche, and I think you have to pick a niche and specialize in it. If I was going to pick one, it'd be subject twos. There's never been a better opportunity for that, because you have equities, you have sellers with equity, you have sellers with low rates and rates are higher. You have sellers at 3 and rates are at 6.25. So there's some value there as well. And if you learn the subject two, Pace Morby is one of the best at teaching subject twos. Bill Tan, if you're local in LA, next Thursday at the LARIC event, Bill Tan's going to talk about it. But I am telling you, I would be all over subject twos if I was a newer agent or wholesaler. Okay, let's get this thing started here officially. Welcome to Probate Weekly. And one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how do I build my business? If I'm a real estate agent or investor, how do I get attention of people who have houses to sell, or people who can refer houses to sell, whether it be from petitioners or be from attorneys, accountants who work with those people? How can I get in the door and position myself to be a go-to resource for them? And I came across an amazing resource called Executorium. And we happen to have the founder, I think is a proper term, the proprietor who runs the thing. Either way, he's a great guy, a lot of fun to talk to, from New Jersey, George Compton. George, thank you for coming on our call today.
Thank you, Bill. Good to be here. Hello, everyone.
And this is a repeat for him, because I love this topic. So George, tell me how Executorium, if you go to the website, it kind of tells you what it is to some degree. It's a information and resources for estates and executors. And so you have a directory of both government providers and for individual providers. So before we get too deep into that, to tell us a little background, how did you get into launching this product?
Well, I was an executor, and it was miserable. It was not a fun experience. But before I belabor that, I was cleaning out my desk after about 15 years as executive director of a 501c3. And it was an association of contractors and engineers, geotechnical engineers, contractors, government, FHWA people, all heavy construction. So that was my paradigm. That was my professional structure. So when I became an executor, I went to look for what must be out there, some sort of, I don't know if association is the word for it, but some resource where an executor could just bump into things and get some context for this job that was ahead. Like everybody else on this call, I had my area of expertise, but then when I was called upon to be an executor, I'm in a world where everyone's going through the motions as if by rote. Probate is something that if you're in the world, you know it backwards and forwards, but stumbling into it, as a matter of course, you're on the will and, you've been designated. It's new. It's a new world. It's unfamiliar waters. I didn't find anything out there. So I had to do it. My mind just started putting it together in my head. It's gone through some incarnations. And what it attempts to do is, and I think succeeds to do, is put the information that's vital in front of the executor, whether that's the county, state service providers, like the accountants that are local to you, the probate attorneys, the real estate agent you need that has a specialty, the auction houses, the estate sales companies, the clean out companies, the grief support people, the coaches and the counselors, the donation locations. Where do I bring the old rocking chair that nobody wants? Can somebody use it? Where do I bring my mom's old glasses? The Lions International accepts those. So just things like that. All those things are new experiences, and Executorium's role is to provide context, flatten the learning curve a little bit, so it's not such a struggle. Help ease the pain a little bit. So the many challenges the executor has to deal with is where executorium meets the estate. So it's executor facing.
So it's a key thing. You need to think about this it's designed to be estate facing or executor facing. So when we as professionals deal with it, I saw it right away and said, wow, I can help because I have friends and vendors who'd like to support those people as well. And so I've promoted this as a product for attorneys I've talked to, accountants I've talked to, vendors I've talked to, realtors around the country I've talked to, because I think the more we fill this out, the more beneficial the resource becomes. So let's talk about, I understand why you're doing this. You feel like state executors, administrators are overwhelmed with the task. So how did you design this as a tool to address that? How do you, and how, where are you in the process? At the beginning of it? Are you seeing progress in it? Are you have next phases in mind? Where are you in the process with this?
That's a great question. This has been a labor of love. It's been something I've been very passionate about. Having gone through the experience and just, there are things you learn which you enjoy. Some things you learn and you're never going to use again. I could be a great executor right now, but having concluded the experience, I don't want to be an executor ever again if I can avoid it. But I'd like to put some of that knowledge to use, and I find myself still learning. Where am I on that journey or in the process? Executorium is definitely in a process. It's not an event. It's more like and I hate to use this word because it puts borders on this project that I don't really want to commit to. It's like a magazine. There's always going to be information that I can pump out and put in front of estates and executors at the county level, at the national level, across different verticals such as grief, probate, relationships, organization. Do I use an auction house or an estate sale? There's so many things to just throw up against the wall and chew up and see how it pans out. I would say I'm at the beginning of this process. Getting a website that is simple to use, clear in its design and intent, I think was job number one. Mm-hmm. Developing relationships and fleshing out the directories was job number two. Job number three, and job number 2 and 1 and 3 are concurrent. Job number 3 would be just start plugging away at the content and start filling out what is needed.
So let me show you guys why I think all of you should be interested in this, and everybody should take a few minutes, either now if you're able to or later. So if you go to the website, and I'm going to demo your software for you right in front of you, George. I hope it's not disrespectful.
It's absolutely wonderful, and with gratitude, I'm watching.
You go to the website, and so I'm not in the government. I'm a service provider, and you go in your county. Where you start off with the state, and I'm in California, and so alphabetically, and then you go down to within California. I'm going to go to the county that I'm in, Los Angeles. And you can pick a category if you want to go further than that, or just hit go, and you get all the categories. So as you go here, you notice a couple of things. One is area different sub vendors by alphabetical, accountant and appraiser. This is a accountant I've used. He's there because I put him there. I told him to use it. In fact, and then at one point he offered advertisements. And so there's my advertisement. It's funny, Joe Napoli, I know him from when I used to work for another company as a manager. He's a colleague or competitor, I guess, in some regards. And these are other vendors. And then, so accountant, appraisers. It's interesting how many appraisers there are. Clean outs, donation. Look at state auctions there are. I find that surprising. Now, I don't know if you had a national company or a national service that kind of tied into you or whatever, but I'm surprised how many there are there. And even ones that I know of, I don't even see on there. So I know there's more. Estate sales, there's a lot of those. Again, did you get in with some sort of a national group on that, or is that just how it worked out?
That's going to be in the following phases. There, to be transparent, there's a probably before phase one. I couldn't just open this up and have no data. It would make no sense if you were going to the county and you just saw an empty page. So there was a lot of research that took place prior to launch to flesh out the directory. So I guess number 4 is we're going through, and if you see like the EXP Realty of California there and Remax Top Producers, they all have that green lit little tag there. So that means they've signed up recently. They are verified that their information is recent, meaning within the last 18 months. We lit their listing. Those that took advantage of it also put a little the beginning of their description shows up. So people that are signing up right now, they get that green little tag. They can put their services in, which also shows up in the directory itself. You can see licensed for 30, 40 years, specialized service for properties and probate, etc.
Nice.
And then I guess one other thing would be that I'm considering those folks founders, because I'm not getting this done without people fleshing out this directory. So it's with just a sentiment of gratitude that my early folks are coming in, they're signing up. I know it's going to be good for them because I'm putting them in front of executors, but I know I can't do this without all these people signing up. So it's nice quid pro quo. Just there's these are free listings, and what I get out of it is I get to present these to executors and say, these are the people around you that do this type of work, and it scratches that itch. It's building that asset is the goal here.
Right. Now, and then there are other categories that we haven't been filled in LA County. So there's more than just the ones that you see that you could also add in. Grief support was one you talked about. Mediation's another one. Storage. So these are other categories that one could fill out. And so the reason why, what I like about this is he's doing this because he's trying to help executors, which I'm great about. I also want to help small business people succeed. I want to help my local vendors do well. I wanted my accountant to do well. And I said to him, hey, Michael, I got a free marketing opportunity for you. Why don't you fill this thing out? And I just sent him the link, and he went in, filled it out. And I don't know if he's got any business on it. He might. Also, the more links you have to your website, the more your search engine optimization goes up. So it only helps to have relevant content related to your website. So I would encourage everybody on this call to put yourself in here. And then the second is, as you talk to your vendors, just like I'm today promoting to everybody at one shot, as you talk to me individually, it's something else to talk about. And as a real estate agent, you should be calling your accountant, your appraiser, your clean out, your collections, your donation. People in these areas. And if you don't, because often agents will say, well, how do I get started? Do I buy data and mail out? Do I buy data and cold call? How about what if you just took every, say, clean out company in your marketer and called them all and said, hey, I have a tool to market your product for free or your service for free. Would you be interested? What are they going to say? Who says no to free opportunity? You might even interview them like I do in videos and make some video on it while you do that. But to me, that then becomes a win-win. You're helping them with their business. You're helping the executor get better service in your area. You're helping George build out this tool nationally. And by the way, it reflects well on you. You're going to get some business as a result. If you focus on helping others, it works out. My first coach was Zig Ziglar, and he would say, you can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. I want to help George fill this up. How do I do that? Well, I start by filling it up in my area as best I can.
And you have, and I just am so thankful for that. Well, this would sound enormously self-serving. It is an opportunity in it to make phone calls and talk to people, and that always generates good things. Good things come of that. So I appreciate what you've kind of made me realize, Bill, is this is created to serve executors. That it is a promotional tool has come as a kind of a afterthought, but it's real. I mean, it's not. There is a synergy here that is to be taken advantage of, and I think it's a strong synergy to create a network. There are a lot of counties in this directory that the enterprising person with initiative could put themselves in the directory, call their entire network, and before their competitors even know it, they can have the top ad spaces. They can, they can dominate the county. Not that that's my goal, but there is certainly some benefit to that. And if you're looking for what might be a good incentive to sign up,
Yeah.
I think that's a strong one. And you mentioned SEO. Every person that, if you sign up, you can put your own links in. So I could put in the article that they wrote about me in such and such a magazine, or I can put a blog article that I think is very relevant in my company page, because every listing goes to a company page with your Facebook. You can put your contacts in, your associates. So it's quite a deep tool. And like I said, or maybe I didn't say, it's the founders that are going to benefit from this, people that are in early. Ultimately, when we get to some critical mass, I probably will charge something for the full listings, and the free listings will probably go to some basic, just your name, your address, and some of the other benefits will probably get scaled down. But right now, listings will be free. They'll be evergreen. We're never going to charge, as long as we can confirm that you're in business. It'll stay in the directory. You can put in your links, contacts. You can own your description and put in as you like, and Google loves that. So I think there's a lot of upside, and we've built it that way. So
I put in the chat box, if you go to the executorium.com, there's a register your business link in the bottom. I put it in the chat box. You can register. I'd urge you all to register. I'd urge you all to talk to appropriate vendors and get them to register and participate in it. I mean, what a nice free service to offer to your customers, especially I'm in a crowded market area in LA, though we need more because we have more people. But if you're in an area that's not well serviced, like George said, you would dominate the market, and that's how we're going to help each other along the way. I got a question from Matt Driscoll, who's a regular through our LinkedIn channel, which is interesting, but also who's a regular on our probate mastery phone call. He says, what's the difference between this and estate exec? Now, I don't know that George knows estate exec, though maybe it's something you should want to know, maybe. Estate exec is a software that's designed for third parties and attorneys to gather the documents from the prospective customer or the client for the estate planning. And so it's a way that the customer can upload documents, that they stay in storage, they're secure, they can share them with appropriate people. It really has nothing to do with these vendors, though the same person doing that work might benefit at the same time from these vendors. And so I could see both of them working together. I think estate exec should be listed in the resource directory as a source for fiduciaries or for executors. And I could see where estate exec should offer to their clients the executorium link as a resource for, hey, you stuck finding vendors. Here's some good ones that might help you, accountants and realtors and attorneys and such. So they're different products, Matt. The estate exec is more processing the estate planning process. This is more once you have the estate to deal with, where do they turn to you for resources? And for you as a provider, the difference is, in some ways it's similar. The estate exec you might offer to an attorney who's doing estate planning as a service. That's how it's designed. Here's another service you can offer an attorney, which is, hey, for free, how about we market you, and let's market your preferred vendors, your accountant, your other vendors. Maybe your wife is the estate sale person or auctioneer or whatever. Let's get them in the directory so that our customers are more inclined to work with our people. George, do you work with any kind of other vendors in the space like Estate Executive or anything like that?
That's a great question. I'm aware of them. Obviously, they're on my SEMrush list because we're, vying for similar keywords. I think it's a great resource. I wish I'd known about it when I was an executor. I would have been all
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
It's not what I was picturing when I created Executorium. So I'm very happy that we're two very we scratch different itches.
Yeah.
Executorium is open access, and the executor is. It's not a guidebook. It's not a how-to book. But that's not really answering your question.
Right.
You I don't actually know who runs it.
Okay.
Estate exec. So I look forward to getting into that world. Right now, I'm on step 3. That's probably step, and I mentioned as I'm thinking about it, step 4 and 5. That's probably step 6. I'd like to have a little more fortitude under my feet before introducing myself to some of those more entrenched players, and that's just being honest.
Yeah.
So the time may be sooner rather than later, but I do see some potential opportunities with partnering and just helping each other.
Well, I'm the guy who taught my daughter how to swim by throwing her in a swimming pool. So I'm going to push you with some of these vendors as hard as I can, because I think that the vendors need your benefit, and I think you also offer a service. Okay, Shaw has a question. I'm going to take your question, Shaw, at the end after we're done with George, just because it's not really related to what this particular topic is about, but I'd love your question. Horace says he's in San Diego. Is there anything I can add of value here? If so, reach out to him. Yeah, and Horace, one of the things you can add value is we don't have many vendors in San Diego. So register yourself as the realtor in San Diego County, and then either add in your preferred vendors, attorneys and accountants and such, or call the local ones and get them added in so you have more resources, because you and your customers need those resources, and the attorneys as well need those resources.
Bill, it takes about 5 minutes to sign up, and you register as a user. You get an email kicked back to you with a link. You follow the link. You're back in. 5 minutes later, you're submitting your listing. I get an email, and for obvious reasons, I approve or disapprove because I don't want garbage in the directory. But so far, most all of them have been approved unless they're completely off the wall. And then you're in.
I had to beg to get mine in. I sent them $20 and I got in, so it worked out.
Canadian.
And then somebody asked, do you do it for the vendor? No, do your own. Send your vendor the link and ask them to do it. I do think that sometimes if we push too hard our value, they don't appreciate it. Giving them the link, but sometimes the attorney's secretary should do it, or the attorney has a social media intern that should be doing it. But definitely you should get them to do it, and they have to register themselves, respond to the email, and to get into the service. So, and we got some good thank yous from Courtney and from Horace. Okay, good. So I hope you guys can use that in your business. I know you guys are both younger, hungry, on the verge here, getting started. And so iPhone says, I love this one. iPhone says, I'm a realtor in Seattle, Washington. If you have referrals up north. Okay. Well, iPhone, first, we don't know your contact info. We don't have a name, a phone number, an email, number one. Number two, put your info in Executorium. And that way, if ever I look for a realtor in Washington, Seattle, whatever, Kings County, I guess is Seattle, is Kings County, I'll find you there. So why not go in and put yourself in and everybody here who's sharing your contact info, I appreciate having, I really do. Horace, I appreciate having you, but we're going to hang up this phone, this Zoom call, and I'm going to lose your chat information. But I go to Executorium, and if you're there in San Diego County, you're going to be the realtor choice that people are going to want to work with. So let's get you guys in that system. Tony says he registered. Good job. Okay, so let's all register or take time to do that and share that with our vendors. Any other questions regarding the Executorium product and how we all can help this project, which I think is very worthwhile, help our attorneys and our accountants and our other vendors in this space, and how we can help ourselves? Any other questions on this particular topic? No? Okay. So George, look, I know that, to me, it's just fairly simple. Like, everybody should do this. There's really not much else to say. We should make it part of our marketing. I'd like to have you on every 90 days or so, because I do think I see myself as a bit of a coach. I don't get paid by you. I don't get paid by the listing. I'm not selling a coaching program. I'm just a colleague here but I want everybody on this call to succeed. I want you all to get listings and sales and get good investments so we all together will succeed in the upcoming year. And the way we do that's by working together. And if we work together, there's only on the call 50 of us. We could dominate this industry if we work together. I don't care that to some degree we're competitors, because even those competitors aren't doing what we're doing here today. So George, again, I just want to thank you. We're going to continue the call on Probate Weekly and regular probate stuff. George, you're welcome to hang on here, but I think we've covered the topic of executorium. Will I have, thank you so much for the product. Thank you for the free listings. Thank you for sharing it with us today. I really appreciate your time.
I'm all gratitude for the opportunity to present this, and I hope everyone signs up. Takes 5 minutes, and it'll just make it stronger, and it'll make it easier for them to find you.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Bill.
Thanks so much. So Shah has a great question, kind of more on standard probate stuff. I don't know if you're there, Shah. I want to unmute yourself and when it come on, we could talk about it a little bit. But I'm going to ask you to unmute and turn your camera. Oops, the wrong person. Ask to unmute and turn your camera on. If you can, come on in. And if you can't, I understand. So related to probate and what course of action beneficiary takes to reopen a probate, or does the beneficiary have a right to do so in case the executor refuses to provide info and communicate? So are you talking about a probate or are you talking about a trust matter? Because a probate, everything is public. All the documents are filed publicly. So when somebody says they didn't get the information, at least in California, I think it's true in most states, everything's filed publicly. You can go online and see the documents, or can go to the courthouse and see the documents and what's there. If it's a trust, then there are certain requirements. We had on a couple of weeks ago a trust attorney who went through what requirements there are to disclose to all certain family members and certain heirs copies of the trust. So I have several friends going through being an executrix at the moment. Okay, good. Margaret has a nice thing to say. Thank you, Margaret. So again, Shaw, I'm not sure exactly what the issue is that your friend or client is having. If you want to unmute, jump in, love to chat with you about it. But if not, the best I can say is when people say that the executor or administrator is not telling me, if it's a probate, almost by definition, the matter is public, and whatever they're doing or supposed to be doing would be made known to them. If it's a trust, there are certain requirements that you can demand copies of the documents. Shai, I see you unmute yourself. Tell us a little about your case where the party is not sharing information. Okay, so let's see, unmuted, but we don't have a microphone working. Okay, well, that's the best I can tell you is, again, and I talk to principals all the time, and they'll say that, well, so-and-so's not sharing information with me. And again, if it's probate, it's public, and if you learn how your county works, you can look up the records and help them find out what the answer is. If it's a trust, there are legal requirements for trustees to share copies of trust with certain members, family members, and certain and heirs. And so we talked about that last week in more detail. Okay, who wants to share a victory, a setback? I'm glad to share one with you guys. I got quite a few. If you're all busy registering on executorium, you're excused from participating today. But this call is meant to be participative. It's meant to be a place where those of you working who have questions, want to get involved. Courtney, see your hand up, your big paw. If we can get your video on, that'd be ideal. And unmute. What's going on, man?
Unmute. Yes, Bill. So thanks for everything, man. Well, one, I am just new to the probate niche. I have been a wholesaler for the last several years, but this has been my first week making calls to probate niche since I moved to Durham, North Carolina. And I've had at least 3 people, maybe more, say to me when I, introduce myself, no, there's nothing really I can help with. I'm just, trying to sell this property, trying to sell this land. So I did follow with a young lady and sent over a purchase agreement. She couldn't keep her on the phone so that I could, get the purchase agreement back over to me. But hopefully I have an appointment with her to go over it again, and hopefully I'll get that contract. But it's just been such a cool experience being able to come in, as we had a conversation earlier, coming in knowing that bringing value. And I was able to connect with an attorney I had a question about when an executor has the right or ability to sell the property in the probate process. And so that was my door in to speak to him, and he allowed me to interview him too. So I have interview content for my page, and so things are going. Awesome.
Hold on. Who was it you interviewed?
Attorney Willie Fennell out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I did try to reach out to Jason Walls. I saw your previous links that you shared with me. Thanks so much, and I'm still going to keep giving him a call until I can reach him, and maybe even ask the same question. We play, but still, it's a really cool experience. It was exciting. So, Attorney Willie Fennell, his niche is real estate transaction closing, and so you did recommend talk to a closing attorney.
Yeah.
And so he gave me great information. So that's pretty exciting. I can't wait to keep rocking and rolling this. This is cool stuff.
So let's talk about that for a second. So real estate attorney Willie Fennell in Durham area, and so you where'd you put it on social media?
I have a YouTube channel that I threw it up there. Then I linked back to my.
Make sure you don't share it with us, because somebody here might watch it also. You might get more views. That might make you more popular, and you might actually get more deals without working harder.
Shoot,
so don't share it with us. Be careful.
The link in here. I'll throw the link in there.
And then for sure, don't put it on my Facebook group, Probate Experts, because people might see it there and watch it, and it might spread around the Durham area. You might get more business.
Oh, that's the next step. The next 2 steps. I'll put the link in here, and I would love anyone to take a look, subscribe, share any feedback you can give. I love growing and learning. That'd be awesome. I'll do both of those. So, so that's pretty awesome. So I'm going to ask the same question to a couple of attorneys, just because at least I have one question that I can, one way to enter the door, to speak to people.
Courtney, I don't look as good as you do, and I'm on video all day long. I can imagine if I look like you, what I could do business-wise. But for all of you on the call, listen to what he did, right? He had a question, and I referred him to somebody who I'd interviewed, but he called the attorney on his own and interviewed him. So what does 2 things? One, what do you think the attorney thinks of him because he interviewed him and took the time to record it and share it on social media? What do you think Willie Fennell, real estate attorney in the Durham area, what do you think he thinks of Courtney as a result? Anybody want to put in the chat box? What do you think he thinks of him as a result of being interviewed? He's working, right? And Courtney might not be working. He might be all day long playing video games, but while he talked to Willie and recorded it, he was working. And that's the beauty of video, is it's working even when you're not working, right? Proactive, very good. Value guy, exactly, because he has value to bring. If you're asking somebody questions to help your customers, people all appreciate that. So all those are positive attributes. So there's 2 things happening. One, while you're talking to him, that's happening. But when you post on your social media and other people see that, that's the residual. I'll share with you guys today, my YouTube channel averages 35 hours a day of watch time, 7 days a week. I work 5 days a week, and I don't work 35 hours. So when I do these videos, I do this program every week for about an hour, and then we post it. But this episode will get, 150, 200 hours of view time for my hours spent. Now, fair to say, I also do other things to promote this call. It just doesn't happen magically, but it's not anything that any of you couldn't do, right? So Courtney, for sure. And then the other thing I want to offer to all of you guys is share it here on this call if you come back. And then I have a free Facebook group, Probate Experts. Feel free to share any video interview you do there, because that will help us meet your attorney friend, and they'll, of course, appreciate you. It will also, when we click on the link there, it's going to help drive your views on your channel. And so now we're working together by sharing each other's content. I didn't get to, I'm now in the YouTube Partners Program because a lot of you guys watch my content, and that helps my business. So we want to work together as a team. Does that make sense?
Awesome, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. I did drop the link in there. Appreciate anyone subscribing, and I'll definitely go to the Facebook group and just keep repurposing and yeah, that's awesome, man. But
look at this. Hold on, guys. I got to show you guys this channel. Look at that. First off, Courtney with a suit and tie on. Look at that look.
Yeah, I have hoodies and playing golf, but actually I get that from you. You said look like an attorney, so I started trying to dress up and looking like an attorney. So
look at that.
Yeah,
look, you got a big smile. Look, your energy comes through. It's very authentic. You look happy. You look like you're enjoying what you're doing. I think it's important that people see that. We all want to work with somebody who's doing the job. So good for you.
Well, thank you. And a lot of the content now is going to shift to estate planning and probate. Before I was in the the wholesale world, and And so a lot of that was geared towards helping people and helping myself really get better at wholesaling. But the content is going to shift more into like ask the expert type of things and really just copy some of the stuff I see you all doing. Success leaves clues, right?
Exactly. Okay, well, look, good job. And I love that. I'm going to subscribe to you myself on your YouTube channel. Keep up the good work and let's share all that work together, okay? Thanks, man. Okay, so let's see. In the chat box, should I do this video if we can go over my question again? Sorry. Yeah, sure, Shaw. Let's see. Let's get you unmuted. If you raise your hand, I can find you faster. Let me see if I can find you here. Hold on. There you go. Unmute and let's get your video started. Because you had a good question I want to go to. Are you there?
Yes. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, Shaw, how you doing?
Okay, good. How are you?
Outstanding.
Great. Thank you very much for allowing me to ask this question. My question is when an executor or when a power of attorney is now executor and the executor is like there's two sisters and only one of them is the executor. So they don't talk. There's like sibling rivalry. And so there's no communication with the beneficiary being the sister. And when she does try to contact, it's just ignored. So can this probate be completed and everything be, finished and finalized without the beneficiary being a part of it? Like, isn't there some sort of a duty that the executor needs to involve the beneficiary for the probate process?
Good question. We get this one a lot in different forms. So first thing, Shaw, is what state is the probate in?
This is in Canada, but wouldn't it be like in general?
I just was talking. It's so funny that you do this.
Okay.
Just today, because I'm building a national team of probate experts, and one of the people was interviewing today is in Florida, and in Florida is one of the largest populations moving into Florida is from Canada, and so she was just telling me today how she goes to a convention in Canada every year, and we're looking for a Canada probate. I don't know if they're attorneys or barristers or what they call them in Canada, and realtors in that area, because the company I'm with we also operate in Canada. So I would just say off the bat, I have no idea what the laws are in Canada. I can tell you in California on a probate, everything is filed with the court. Every action, every meeting, every document is filed with the court. And there's certain people who are obligated to get copies of every document, including the sister would, in this case, the beneficiaries. So I don't know Canada law, but in California law, she would be getting copies of the letters, copies of documents. She could go online and see the filings or read the documents if she wanted to. Oftentimes, those sisters still say, well, I don't really know what's going on. But meanwhile, it's all public record. They're just really saying, I'm feeling left out, I'm not being communicated with. So there's the technical skill of knowing what's happening. And then there is the soft skill of the communication with the party. I just don't know which one of that is in this case. So I'm not answering you in Canada. Love to find, anybody who knows in Canada, are they attorneys or barristers or lawyers or what do they call people? And what's the process like in Canada? We've had people come in from England, which is kind of fun. So Shaw, I hope that helps a little bit, but I would find an attorney or whoever handles those kinds of things in Canada. Okay. I think she's muted herself, so I think that sounds good. Kimberly, I see your hand up, so let's get you unmuted. If you could turn your video on, that would be great. But if not, we'll take you either way.
Okay, let me turn my video on. Oh, my video's on. Can you see me?
Let's see here. Yes.
I'm gonna walk outside.
Yeah.
I'm at practice for my son. So I'm a realtor. Hi, how you doing?
Great, Kimberly.
This is my first time on. I've done a few probate sales in my real estate career, but I'm kind of stumped on one. So I just wanted to see if anybody might have any feedback. So I have
stop 1 second. We love those. We love those. That's why
mysteries.
I do so. Yeah, love mysteries, problems, challenges, drama. We love the drama. Probably.
The drama. Well, I always have drama. That's part of real estate. So I have a client that has a property that is in front of his that he would like to buy. However, the person that owns it has been deceased for probably about 10 years. and the property was not included in probate. So I was able to track down
Well, hold on. What does that mean? Was a probate done on his estate?
Yeah, probate was done on
And they left out that particular property by accident.
Yes.
Okay.
So I spoke with the attorney that did the probate. He's he's retired now. But he doesn't have any access to any other family members. And I've kind of done as much detective work as I could to try to find any more family members. So I was wondering if these other family members may be deceased at this point, are there any other ways to access this property or get it back into probate? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. Where's the property at? What state? What county?
It's in Fulton County,
Georgia.
In College Park, Georgia.
Okay, so College Park is near Atlanta.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't know the laws in Atlanta or Georgia, so I really can't speak authoritative. I can tell you that is somebody paying the property taxes, or the property taxes unpaid?
So there's the drama. There's a person down the street from the property.
Yep.
That is paying the FIFA. Yes.
There you go. So maybe their plan is to take over the property in California. We have a process where you pay the taxes. At some point, you can do what's called adverse possession. You can say, it's my property. I own it now because nobody's been living there for 5 years, and there's a legal process. You can take it over. So that person might be trying to do that. Have you talked to them?
Mm-hmm. No, my client has said not to reach out to them yet until we kind of see if there's any other routes besides that person. Option
1. Option 2, in California, the county public administrator, which is the legal department for the county, usually has a department. In LA, there's a big department of probate attorneys where the county will file probate because the county would like the property occupied and resold at a higher price to generate more taxes. So the county will, if there's nobody, they'll file probate and they'll notice everybody. And there's a process by which, by law, they have to do to search if there's any errors. But after that time period, if nobody raises their hand and they've done a certain reasonable effort based on the law, then they can go forward and sell the property and pay creditors, pay taxes, pay fees, and the rest of the money goes to the county. So there's a process to do that. Now that property is going to get sold, as is. It goes to county kind of auction. Your client can't buy it for pennies on the dollar. There's no way really to make that happen, but they can push it along and at least get it shot at a good deal.
And what's that department in the county?
The public administrator in LA County.
Public administrator.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure there's something similar in Fulton. It's a big county, so it wouldn't surprise me they have something, the same name or something similar.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Yep.
Kimberly, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, and let's see. Somebody else, is it OD? Says a while back, I was in call topic came up about dual agency, and I was involved in dual agency. I was a listing agent with court confirmation, and it was a win-win for all parties. I was able to secure a buyer at the open house and postcards, and the property had full exposure. Good for you. I think that OD, the problem with, I don't know if you want to raise your hand and come in, we can talk about it a little bit. I'm glad to have a discussion on this. I'm not saying that I'm right. Is that Oscar Dixon? Yeah, there you go. Oscar, if you want to pop in real quick, we can talk about this.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Hi, Bill.
How you doing?
Yeah, we're doing great. Doing great.
So, and I don't know if you have video, if you could put your video on, and we could bring you into the meeting with that, or.
Okay. You got.
I'm a little pushy, so forgive me, but that's just my nature.
Okay. Yeah.
Oscar, where do you sell houses? Where do you do business?
Los Angeles County, mostly, some Orange County, but mostly LA.
And I hope I didn't say you can't do dual agent or that it's always wrong. I hope I didn't make it sound bad like that. Did I?
No. I think the conversation came up that I think people was talking and they said, well, if you dual agency, it wouldn't look good or whatever case may be. But in my experience, I've done quite a few dual agencies because basically I have investors, I have clients, but with the open houses, if a buyer, I'm spending a lot of money with postcards and everything else. So if a buyer comes to me and can beat everybody else out, I don't see anything wrong with that. Long as it's of course both the buyer and the seller knows that. And once we go to court, there's another chance. Once we go to court, I get up in the court and I also go around in the courtroom and ask if there's any overbids. The attorney doesn't do that. I do that. So I don't see anything wrong with a person can do both sides, and it basically is best, it's a win-win for everybody.
Good for you. I don't necessarily disagree with you. In general, I'd rather not, because I do think that some people look at that negatively, and my reputation is important. But I've double-ended deals before when it made sense for my client. The one thing I always remind people is you first sign a contract with the seller before with the buyer, so that you can only sign a contract with the buyer if that's going to help your seller. Now, I'm really good at what I do, and I'm better than the buyer's other agent probably is going to be on a probate. So I don't mind jumping in. I think in your case, I think you're better off with you as the buyer's agent than some other average agent. So you're serving your client that way. I think that's great. Some agents think because it's a probate, they can kind of slide it in and push a double end and make it hard for other agents to market the property. That's the old style. That doesn't really work so much anymore. But that doesn't sound like what you're doing at all. It sounds like you're working hard to get those buyers, and good for you.
Yeah. So that's I think it's because I let the seller know, hey, once usually the way I do it, let's say I'm doing open houses. I don't had professional photographer to come out and do all this, and then first if 100 day if the property been on the market for 100, let's say a month, and you haven't got the right offer, you haven't got any, you don't have a ton of people coming through and buyers. And mostly what I've experienced with that, and another agent, a lot of agents, they're going to bring a buyer and they lowballing the price. They don't want to come up to my price. So if I get my own buyer and that buyer willing to come up to that price, then I think it's a win-win. The seller is happy and everybody is happy. So that's how I do it. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Somebody asked in the Facebook live stream, does the judge decide that? No, the client on a regular probate or a limited authority probate, the client picks the listing agent. The sale's confirmed. The judge doesn't see it really until it comes to court. And as long as you've complied with all the requirements, my experience, the judges don't care if it's dual agency or single agency. I think now on some properties require approval to list the property, conservatorships and guardianships. That's a little different. And there I'd be more careful about double ending it. But it sounds like what Oscar's doing is just really working hard. So good for you, Oscar. Keep up the good work, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's see. A couple other people. Frank said he signed up on Executorium. I don't get a nickel for this. I would just love this to be a great resource nationwide for executors. I'd love to make George happy with this and see his goal come through. And I'd love to see you guys as real estate professionals offer this to your clients, build your business and be successful. Margaret asks, what's the name of the Facebook group? So in Facebook, if you go to Probate Experts, it's about 1,400 or 1,500 members. That's my Facebook group, Probate Experts. That's free for anybody. You don't have to be you can be an agent, you could be an investor, you could be a petitioner. We do get, I would say, a couple times a week, petitioners coming in looking for help. So it's a great place to find some leads, and you guys are welcome to come in and serve them and help those customers. Okay, so I think we answered the questions in the Zoom. I don't see any hands up, and then on the live stream, I think we're all caught up there as well. So I think what we're going to do, so a couple quick housekeeping things if I can. If you're in the LA area, two things you might want to know about. Right after this meeting ends, I drive over to the All Season Brewery, which is on La Brea, just south of Wilshire Boulevard. And I host a networking event for real estate agents. And if you come there and you're a real estate agent and tell me you saw it on this live stream, I'll buy you a free beer. So it's Brew Real Estate, and it's at All Season Brewing Company on La Brea, 800 South La Brea, just south of Wilshire Boulevard, the Miracle Mile area. It's an old Firestone building that turned into a bar. It's huge, fun. They brew beer right there. It's like custom beer. Fantastic. If you don't buy beer, there's non-alcoholic drinks. I'd love to share with you as well. So love to see you today, starting at 5:30. So in about 45 minutes, I'll be over there. And I'd love to buy your free beer, come up and say hi, and tell me you saw it on this program. Recap again, Executorium, free service for all of you to sign up for executorium.com. And I put the link in the chat box, but you go to registration and you fill in your information and you get added into a listing for free. And so I think it's a great opportunity for you to market yourself. It's a great opportunity for you to market your vendors and help them with their business. And the last pitch next week, a week from today, Thursday, December 8th at 6:30, is a real estate vendor expo. That's in the Culver City area at the Iman Center, just south of Chevy Hills, just south of 10 Freeway. We call it Culver City area. It's really West Los Angeles. There's 250, it's free. There's 250 people attend, investors, wholesalers, and real estate agents. And there's 50 vendors there. And I find me and the vendors have really helped me with my business. It's really been a fantastic resource for me. I figured out last year I closed 2 deals because the insurance guy I met helping me insure vacant property that were real problematic, and a guy who helped me evict 2 squatters. So I paid me about $50,000 by going to this event for free last year. So go there at 6:30 is the vendor expo, 7:30 is the talk. I'd love to see you there. I don't go out for business unless I have to, but I go to the event I host today, and I go to that real estate expo every month. It's really the best real estate event I go to on a monthly basis. Okay, the name of the Facebook group again is Probate Experts. Courtney reposted his YouTube, fantastic. And George thanks us. We have 10 new signups on to Executorium. I hope more to follow. So we do this every Thursday, Probate Weekly, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can see the recordings of it at episodes.probateweekly.com. If you're registered, come on to the Zoom call live. We'd love to have you participate. Otherwise, watch it on recording. If you like it there, please like it or subscribe. If you have questions or comments, put it in the chat box if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll get back to them. Again, that's the LA Vendor Expo, LAREIC.com for Horace. I'll put it in the chat box again, LAREIC.com if you want to register for the expo for next week. And again, if you have any questions, call me, text me, email me. As always, guys, make it a great week. I'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody.